Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our course Lexical Studies. As you know, these days we are dealing with the field of semantics or semantic fields in linguistics. In our previous lectures, as we have discussed many dimensions of the semantic field, let's move on and let's go ahead regarding the semantic field. Today, our topic is, as you can see, what is discourse? Discourse, what could be discourse in your opinion? Here, as you can see, a verbal communication, or talk, or conversation, or verbal statement, verbal utterance, or what we say verbally, it's called discourse, or what we conversate, what we do when we interact with other people, in what way we do our conversation in oral as or spoken form. It's called discourse. As well as what could be discourse? A formal treatment of a subject in a speech or writing. Not only discourse included the oral speech, it could also include the writing or written form of the language is also included in the discourse. Formal treatment of a subject, it means in what way we deal with the sentences in a formal way. What are the subject verb agreements in a formal setting? We can understand in appropriate way or in appropriate sentences we do conversation. So discourse means a formal treatment of a subject, means a proper is sentence structure when we use, or in verbal communication or in verbal talking we use this discourse. Next, a unit of text used by linguists for the analysis of linguistic phenomena that range over more than one sentence. It means we are talking about more and more explanation of the text. Apparently, we can say there is a single sentence, but as there are a lot of meanings that could be associated with that single sentence. So the explanation, the interpretation of those sentences in a linguistic form, it's called discourse. Here you can see some examples. Alice will be here next Thursday. Although this is only a sentence, a future sentence, but we can associate some other meanings with this example. Alice will be here next Thursday. What it could be? It could be expectations. Yes, it is expected that Alice will be here next Thursday. Let's see the example number 2. They will have been preparing to visit Narang Kagan since last year. Since last year they are doing preparation. What about this one? This is not only a single sentence, but in there is a future plan. You can understand their planning and preparation about visiting some place. And more associated meaning we can include in this sentence also. Think about this one and turn to the next one. Never mind, I can fix this problem quite easily. What does it mean? This is only a sentence, or there are more associative meaning that we can conclude from this sentence? Yes, here is we can say ability of a person. Next, who was in charge of this canteen at that time? Apparently there is a question. Yes, it's a question, but this is also an investigation. More meaning we can take this from, maybe there was an incident, maybe there was a problem or issue, and maybe the head of that institutions had arrived over there at that particular place and was asking about the in charge of that canteen where was the problem. So many meanings, associative meanings we can include in this sentence. It means it was an investigation by the head of that department or by the head of the team or institutions who is asking something about that. Number 5, a stitching time saves 9. This is one sentence, and yes, you know, it's a proverb, it's an idiom. A stitching time saves 9 means a work that is done on time, it saves a lot of things. It saves a lot of energy. It strengthens us in a different way. It means do work on time. So here we can understand one sentence can give us a lot of explanation, and this is called discourse. Discourse is linguistic communication seen as a transaction between speaker and hearer, as an interpersonal activity whose form is determined by its social purpose. So it is the dealing, it is a business, or it is a contract, or it is a action that is performed by a speaker and a hearer. What they want to do? They want to do conversate, they want to do interact, or it also indicate discourse is also indicate that there are some social purposes and some social setup in some social settings that two speakers and hearer are they are belong to. Text is linguistic communication, spoken or written, seen simply as a message coded in its auditory or visual medium. It means what we can say text is linguistic communication. Discourse, we can say it's a text, and in linguistics communication is spoken or written form. It could be, or it's simply a message through we can use auditory or visual medium. We can see, or we can see the person who is speaking, or we can hear the person who is speaking. So it's involved auditory, it's related to our hearing system, or visually it's our vision, or we can say these channels are also involved while we are interacting with other people. The first modern linguist who commenced the study, who started the study of relation of sentence and coined the same name discourse analysis, which afterwards denoted a branch of applied linguistics, who was Zelig Harris. Zelig Harris published a paper with the title Discourse Analysis. Originally, however, it was not to be treated as a separate branch of the study, discourse analysis. It was not considered the independent branch of the linguistics or studies. Harris proposed extension of grammatical examination, which remained syntactic investigation. At that time, just the grammatical dimension of the discourse, it was discussed by Harris rather than other linguistic forms of the discourse. Michael Foucault originally attempted to map the rules that govern how statement emerge. So we can hear the name of the Michael Foucault also in the field of discourse analysis in linguistics. Some other linguistic philosophers, we can see Austin, Searle, and Bryce, and they are also having some influential effect in the study of the language in social actions or in social setup. And Austin gave us speech act theory, and next one, Bryce has given us a model of conversational maxim, or means in what way we have to do conversate with other people. It means conversational maxim means the principles of the conversation. For example, he has given four principles. Among them, number one is their conversational, cooperative principles, or principles of truthfulness, etc. So alongside the emergence of pragmatics, in what way the language, in what way the text must be used in the practical form or in particular settings. So they gave us all the principles related to discourse analysis. When we interact with other people, there is always a hidden desire that we want to get power, we want to shift power to others, and we want to give respect, we want to desire our sharing ideas and some other interesting things we want to share with other people. So in daily routine, a speaker always has some particular purpose apart from apparent meaning of discourse. Means there are different types of meaning we can infer when a person is speaking: apparent or superficial meaning, or hidden meaning, or what we say additional or associative meanings with the discourse or with the statement. So interpretation of the dimensions of a social life gives the notion of the discourse analysis. So in what way we explain our purposes in our conversation, that process is called discourse analysis. In what way we interpret, in what way we give additional meanings, apart from the superficial meaning or apart from the surface meaning, additional meanings of the text is called discourse analysis. Discourse analysis is a branch of applied linguistics dealing with the examination of the discourse, attempts to find patterns in communication. or communicative products, as well as their correlation with the circumstances in which they occur, which are not explainable at the grammatical level. So here you can see the example of the discourse analysis. Apparently, it's one phrase we can say, or one sentence. Jadoo hai inke haathon mein. You can remember. I think it's a sentence that is, or this is taken from an advertisement, a Pakistani advertisement. Uh, Dosti, or it's related to that particular advertisement. Maybe some of you have seen. So yeah, here the word jadoo is, because it's our Urdu is our national language, so I have given the Urdu example here. Jadoo, it doesn't mean he performs trick. In this conversation, maybe wife is saying to her husband that he has jadoo. It means he is preparing a tea, or tea is very very what we can say very tasteful. So it means we can say that he has a magic. He has magic in his hand. So the word jadoo here, it doesn't mean he can perform tricks. It has some additional meanings. It has some associative meanings that symbolizes power and strength. Or here you can see the not power. We are not talking about power and strength. We are talking about a particular, a distinctive taste that he is preparing for his family or for his wife. So next example, are you going to London next week? Is a question. Are you going to London next week? It's a question. What is the answer? I'm busy throughout the month. What is the answer? What sort of this answer? Is it the right answer of the question? A is asking, are you going to London next week? Apparently, there is no linkage between these two answers. In Urdu, what we can say, there's a proverb. सवाल प्याज है और जवाब लहसुन है. We can understand in this way. So there is no coherence. There is no, what we can say, sense that we can make, but it is also a answer of the question A. Are you going on the next week? I'm busy throughout the month means no, I'm not going. So discourse analysis discuss in this way that the meanings are not clear apparently, or in a surface level we cannot understand, but in social setups, or that are socially defined patterns or rules or regulations, we can understand that these are the particular meanings that we can infer from these apparent wordings. Next, here is another example. Why we do this discourse analysis? It means we want to know the norms, traditions, modes, and values of the different communities by different people. For example, discourse analysis also tells us some theories, or feminist theory. If we do discourse analysis, we have to consult this feminist theory most of the time. And there is another model, Fairclough model, that when we do discourse analysis, mostly we do with that Fairclough model regarding our discourse analysis of the text. So we also know about the norms and traditions of other people. Like feminist theory seeks to analyze the conditions which shape women's lives and to explore cultural understanding of what is meant to be a woman. Maybe this interpretation or explanation of the roles of the women in our society may be some sort of different right now, but maybe it was true in the previous century. The role of the women, what could be the role of the women or girls or ladies while staying in their societies. So here it's not mentioned that we are talking about the Western culture, or we are talking about the Eastern culture. Normally we are talking about the last centuries, or maybe in Western and Eastern there is no discrimination between the roles of the women. So in older days, women were discouraged if they showed their interest towards learning and knowledge, because in this way they would not be able to perform their duties perfectly. What were their duties? Being a housewife, being a mother, being a daughter, or being a sister, their duties were different. They must not indulge in writing, in learning, or getting some knowledge, because according to that theory, a feminist theory or feminism, they say that they will not be able to perform their duties. They will neglect their duties, and the whole system will be disturbed. Whole system of the family will be disturbed. So they will show their power of knowledge, having opinion and awareness of their rights. And also, if they will get knowledge, if they will be educated, they will be aware of their rights. And the man of the society didn't want to make them aware or make them get opinions about anything. So manuscripts and advices were written to make them aware of their primary duties as daughters, mothers, and wives. So discourse analysis tells us about a lot of other things that we don't know. A lot of about other cultures, norms, and traditions of olden days or previous days or primitive days. Not only in this current scenario, we can understand the discourse analysis regarding other nations of the world. It focuses on the social aspect of communication. We are talking about discourse analysis. So social aspects of communication, the ways people use language to achieve specific effect. For example, they want to build trust upon each other, to create doubt, to evoke emotions, or to manage conflict. Instead of focusing on smaller units of language such as sounds, words, or phrases, discourse analysis is used to study larger chunks of language such as entire conversations, texts, or collections of texts. The selected sources can be analyzed on multiple levels, as we have discussed about the feminist theory, and we have discussed about the other two different examples in previous slides. And we have Jadoo Hai Inke Haath Mein, or Are You Leaving are you leaving for London tomorrow or the next week, or in this way, the answers of the these questions were we have discussed on multiple levels. Regarding discourse analysis, there are some other linguistic components or elements we can understand in this regard. Number one is their coherence, number two is cohesion. Coherence, it means that is a sense that is made or that is made by the text or doer of the actions, something logical or consistent and something that makes sense as a whole. You can understand easily. There is no ambiguities, there is no any uh, problems that we have to relate the things from relate the previous thing to the other things, the next things. So it easily it's clear, it's clear statement. So we can say as a whole, we can say there is a sense. Can you go to Lahore tomorrow? Yes, I can. Easily understandable in the form and the sentence structure, each and everything is understandable by other member or by the other speaker. So an appropriate answer in a sequential order, it's called coherence, or what we can say a story-like flow. We can understand things easily from start to the mid and mid from mid to the end. Easily understandable things or logical or consistent things that are there is no ambiguity or there is no problem of clarity. So next is cohesion. It comes from the rules of sentence connection. So what are the rules or regarding the sentence connections? Can you go to Lahore tomorrow? There is a general strike. As same as we have discussed earlier. Question is onion and the answer is garlic. Yes. Can you go to Lahore tomorrow? Is asking about leaving Lahore tomorrow, and the answer is there is a general strike. We cannot understand easily, but we can see, we can infer what things could be related. He's asking about leaving for Lahore tomorrow, and there is a general strike. It means the answer will be no. He's not going to Lahore tomorrow. So no cohesive because the second sentence is not linked to the first one in grammatical sense, and the sentence structure is different, and we have to take some time to understand this. Why this is the answer of the question, or is there any other things that is being discussed? Although apparently we can see the general strike, there is no any connection and associations with leaving for Lahore for a So if sorry, asking for a question of a can you go to Lahore tomorrow, so there is no connection if a person is asking about leaving for Lahore or between the general strike. But when we understand, when we go in depth, or when we take this text deeply, we can understand he's talking about general strike. It means there is not possible for B to go to Lahore for tomorrow. So it's called cohesion. Lexical cohesion or definition, you can understand lexical, the word lexical, it's an adjective, and the words of a language, it means the words of a language. Cohesion, the act of condition of sticking together, to combining the things, to combining the text, to combining the words to each other, it's called cohesion. Or lexical cohesions mean combining the words with each other in a different way by using different strategies. So lexical cohesion it refers to how a text and its ideas are held together through different kinds of word associations between vocabulary or lexical items in a text. So lexical cohesion is achieved through arranging words in different kinds of taxonomic or classifying. We can understand, we can classify into different categories. Number one is their repetition, and number two is their synonymy, antonymy. We have discussed synonymy and antonymy in our previous lectures. So repetition means you can understand when words are used repeatedly. In the first sentence, a word is being used. In the next sentence, as it is that word or that particular term or that name of the particular person or place, or but could be if it is necessary to use that particular word. So repetition, it's again being used. It's called repetition. Or synonymy, words that are similar in meaning, light, pale, or huge, enormous, etc. Many things we can understand in this category. Or antonymy, the opposite words, as we can see and we have discussed a lot in our previous. So light, dark, huge, tiny, etc. There are some cohesive devices or strategies that are being used while in the text of discourse analysis. Pronouns or substitution. In order to avoid repeating the same word several times in one paragraph, it is replaced most often by one, do, or so. It means we put the words do or so in the next part of the sentence. Instead of repeating the exact wording or phrase again the second time. Men do not work in the home as much as women do. Mary stood up to leave, and just she was doing so, she slipped. Again, she was leaving, stood up to leaving. So it will be, there are some sort of problems to understand the listener over here, what the speaker is saying. So instead of repeating the whole phrase again, the next part of the word, here some words are replaced by the phrase or by the sentence. Like here we can see do or so were replaced by the phrases which were discussed in previous part of the sentence. Next, there is the ellipsis. It's very similar to substitution, however it replaces the phrase by a gap. Omission of noun, or noun is skipped, verb or clause on the assumptions. For example, coffee appeals to young people and tea to the elderly. Rather than the young people or elderly people, we skip a word. Coffee appeals to young people and tea to the elderly rather than elderly people. We don't use the word people again. Did he peacefully? Here you can see there are three dots. We have skipped the whole phrase. We have skipped. Did he died peacefully, or did he acted peacefully? What could be? Maybe the listeners and speakers, they know the context here, but we can understand. We can skip the text. Did he peacefully? It means these dots are covering the hidden context. She asked. Next example, I went to the mall on Monday and she on Sunday. So I went to the mall on Monday. She, rather than she went to the mall on Sunday, she on Sunday. So ellipsis is related to skipping the words or putting some dots or skipping the or some phrases, some few words instead of repetition. Next, there is the conjunctions, joining words, linking words, specific the relationship between clauses or sentences, or we want to make some different clauses to each other, we want to make some sentences to each other, or we want to make some coherence in different paragraphs. We use conjunction words. Most frequent relations of sentence and moreover next, afterwards, because or since, and a lot of other words that we can use in this regard in the conjunctions. So this is our end of our today's lecture.